Hey, welcome to Youth Doc. I don't know about you, but as I entered summer and COVID hit and everything went kaput, we ended up not going to camp. We didn't go to missions trip. We really didn't do a whole lot of anything except for try to figure out how to do this thing through Zoom and video and the thing called youth group. But the positive was this, and other youth ministers I've talked to, the church kept giving. So the churches we're all still giving in tithes and offerings, and so even though the budget wasn't being spent, money was still coming in for most churches. So if you're in that situation, you may have an excess amount of funds that you could possibly do something with. And so I wanted to introduce you today to something that you may want to spend your money on. So what is it that you could spend your money on that would be great? It's the game that's behind me, 9 Square in the Air. 9 Square in the Air. I'm not getting paid anything to make this commercial, but this just happens to be a game that I wanted to order, but I never wanted to spend that kind of money on, that my pastor, in making some improvements in the youth ministry, I had it on the very bottom of my wish list, and my pastor looked at me a year and a half ago and said, I think you ought to get that too. Ask for that too. So since he gave me approval, I went ahead and asked for 9 Square in the Air. 9 Square in the Air is played similar to 9 Square, except for the fact there's 9 squares there, and the center square is king. So you start at one corner, you work your way in kind of a Swiss roll approach to try to get into the center. And the ball is in the air, not on the ground. That's the 9 Square in the Air. What is so positive about this game and why my teenagers love it so much and why I love it as a youth minister? My teenagers love it for the fun, the competition, the laughter that goes on around this game. As a youth pastor, what I love about it is that kids can drop in and out at any time. So a kid gets close to king or makes it into the king spot, and then he gets out and he wants to go grab a drink because everybody lines up to get back in line to get into the 9 Square game, then there's not an issue. He can go grab a drink, he can come back out and get back into line and work his way back into the system. So as opposed to having like volleyball where you've got 4 on each team or 6 on each team and somebody wants to go to the bathroom or go get a drink, and all of a sudden the teams are lopsided, this is a one-on-one game or one-on-many game concept, and so you can come and go at any time. My students have loved just that mix, that competition with each other, the laughter that goes on within the game. The squares of the game are 5-foot squares, so it's not quite 6-foot distancing, but if you're like our youth group, we're kind of not as strict on the outside because of how long the coronavirus is supposed to last, and so we've been allowing our students to play 9 Square during youth events. So as we've gotten back going, it's one of the favorite places for our kids to have fun, to laugh, and to feel normal again. I never bought a 9 Square in the Air until I came to the church where I'm at now, which was just a couple years ago, and I was hesitant to spend that kind of money because the game is not cheap. The game is $800, which to me seemed a little high and didn't want to spend it, but I can tell you that the value of the game and the interaction with students is priceless. And so if you've got that budgeted money, I would encourage you to consider this as one of the things that you might spend it on and add that to your youth group games. Right now, not only can you get this game for that, but at the filming, there's a $150 coupon available, discount for this game set. And so I would even encourage you to hurry up and order it, hurry up and get it approved and take that $150 off. At $150 off, it's more in the line that I would have been willing to spend back in the day when I was ready to order versus the $800 that we did spend. We have this wonderful grass outside. Behind me is our student building, and so we've got a great field that we can play in, and 9 Square goes out here and fits great and works wonderful for us. But if you're in a situation like I was at my last church where I really didn't have much grass until you got pretty far away from where the entrance was to the youth center, the gym, a gymnasium, works also for this because it doesn't have to set in the grass. It stands up on its own, and we've actually taken this inside during a lock-in and set it up in our fellowship hall, which it was an old sanctuary, so it has real high ceilings, so that the kids could play 9 Square during the night while we had the lock-in. So I just want to take a few minutes and just encourage you guys to consider this. Once again, I'm not making anything on it. It's just that I know for many of us, we're in a situation where budget was not spent this summer. There's some budgeted money in our church because giving was fine. Our church will be open to us using that to make some different developments within our student ministry. And so I would suggest one of those considerations would be 9 Square in the Air. I want to thank you for watching. I'd like to ask you to subscribe if you've enjoyed this or some of the other videos that I've done. The channel is focused in on a guy who's been doing youth ministry for 30 years, just giving some practical advice, sometimes theoretical advice, to youth pastors at whatever variance you are, however many years you've been doing this, just trying to give a little bit of advice through YouTube. So I just want to thank you for your time and thank you for watching this video.